Greetings and salutations, and welcome back. Today we're doing a rare early show. It is 1:10 or so p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Wanted to try an earlier stream. Last night we did a midnight stream, and so now we're trying a early afternoon stream, trying to find the sweet spot to see when the most people can catch us. I had just commented to another show host that I couldn't believe some of the stuff that Kerry Cassidy has been talking about lately, and commented jokingly that I didn't have to listen to her. I couldn't stand to listen to her, but I just couldn't help myself. So all aboard, we're going to get on the Kerry Cassidy fucking crazy train today. And what a crazy train it is, because to Kerry Cassidy, nothing is off limits. Nothing is too strange, too out there, too ridiculous. From the United States Navy fighting with mer people, to slave colonies on Mars and the moon, to fake whistleblowers that were never in the military claiming to battle reptilian aliens on Mars, to stargates where reptilian aliens come through and enslave people, for adrenochrome. Oh, and they eat us too. And, she wants to make sure that we're all aware of this, the dangers of the alien threat. Specifically, most of the time, she's talking about the Draco reptilian aliens and the mantis aliens. They look like praying mantises, but they have robes on, For those that don't know, Kerry Cassidy sort of rose to prominence on YouTube very early. She was an early adopter of YouTube, started her YouTube channel way back in 2006 with Bill Ryan in the form of Project Camelot. Later, Bill Ryan and her would split, and that is what it is. But she was an early adopter of YouTube in a time where there was not much stuff about UFOs and aliens. So she quickly gained a pretty big following. But as time went on, I think, I remember listening to some of Project Camelot's interviews early on and quickly deciding that most of the people that she interviewed had very little or no evidentiary support for anything that they were talking about. So it was kind of like the UFO alien storytime hour with Kerry Cassidy and Bill Ryan. Later, I suppose to his credit, Bill Ryan decided that she wanted to interview way too many people that had no evidence, and he did not want to continue in their partnership. So he split, started the Avalon forums, and she kept going. And kept going, she did. And like I said, no amount of craziness, no amount of ridiculous story about aliens, UFOs, Stargates, secret space programs, were none of that. Nothing was a bridge too far for crazy Kerry Cassidy. She has continued, and like many people, I remember listening to early videos of her interviewing people. She never mentioned her superpowers until more recently, deciding that she had a Kundalini experience, which resulted in her getting superpowers. Yeah, she's got superpowers. And it's interesting to me that she uses terms common in fiction, like saying she's a precog. I think there was wasn't it? Minority Report had precogs, right? Science fiction movie, right? Many of these people watch way too much science fiction, and I think that's where they get a lot of their terminology from. So years after she decided she was a UFO alien researcher, like many people, she suddenly developed superpowers. I guess people get sick of hearing the same alien and UFO stories, and you gotta up your game. So Kerry Cassidy decided she had psychic superpowers. Yeah, and today, we're going to be going through a short interview. I found a 30-minute interview of her conducted by none other than conducted by none other than Robert David Steele, who you may remember from the Alex Jones channel. He famously went on Alex Jones and claimed that there were slave colonies on Mars and a secret space program and all manner of things. He's a former Marine Corps officer and intelligence officer, which I find crazy that this guy is entertaining this kind of nonsense, having once been a serious military man. But it is what it is. And this interview, I also decided to share this and go through it because it makes my job super easy. I don't have to explain to you Kerry Cassidy's ridiculous, crazy theories about secret space wars and secret space programs and reptilian aliens trying to take over the earth, because she's going to do it for us. And we just get to comment and laugh at this ridiculousness. I can't believe that she has any following whatsoever. And this whole situation with her kind of makes me sad. As I'm trying to grow an audience, I'm realizing I gotta start interviewing fake people, right? I have to get some fake secret space program whistleblowers who are child molesters in reality, or are, you know, losers that, I don't know, are driving instructors while they're claiming to be half human, half alien hybrids. You know, what is it? Simon Parks, that has an alien mother. He's half mantid alien. Yeah, this is the quality of her guests. But she's got a big following. I think most of that is a legacy following from way back in the day. After all, she's been doing this since 2006. So she's got 14 years of these crazy interviews. It's called Project Camelot on YouTube. Most of you, I'm sure, are aware of her. But if you're not, just look up Project Camelot if you want to hear some fairy tales about reptilian aliens and secret space programs and jump rooms to Mars, right? Boy, folks, like I said, I was going to try to explain some of the stories that she's pushed for the last few years, but this interview with Robert David Steele makes it very easy, because she's going to be talking about a space war and current events. Oh, friends, this Kerry Cassidy Crazy Train is it's just a thing to behold. I cannot believe that she is saying any of this shit, and apparently has been for years now. I stopped paying attention to her years ago, probably around the time of Bill Ryan's splitting. I liked some of Bill Ryan's talks, lectures, and things, and kind of felt like she was the Me Too in their partnership. Like, I think that he was, oh, geez, how do you even say, like, a little more credible than her? It's not hard to be a little more credible than crazy Kerry Cassidy, but he was, you know, I thought that he was. And when he split with her, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff said about her and her willingness to push fake stories just to get views and clicks and likes and whatever. And I lost touch and didn't care, knowing that most of the information that she was presenting had zero factual or evidentiary support and had no value. There's just no value, friends, in anything she talks about. It's interesting to note that she is constantly complaining now because her YouTube channel got demonetized, and she claims they're, you know, shadow banning her. But the real truth is that she continually violates YouTube's terms of service by doing things like having fake doctors on saying that COVID is not a threat, and various other things that I think are a danger to the public. Is YouTube right in demonetizing her? Sure, because from their business standpoint, they need content that their advertisers will not mind, you know, being an add-on. You know, a car company doesn't want to be advertising on crazy Kerry Cassidy's channel talking about Draco reptilian aliens trying to take over Earth, or secret space programs and secret space wars between reptilian aliens and gray aliens and humans intervening. They will complain to YouTube. Why is my good hard-earned, you know, why is the money I'm paying you getting put on this crackpot's channel? So she was recently demonetized. She's starting her own website, and I believe I heard she's starting a website with a few others. I don't believe that that website endeavor will be successful. Various other people have discussed this. It's hard to get an audience to just go to a website. Everybody goes to YouTube. So lately, she's complaining that she's also got 2 strikes for community guidelines problems. And if she gets one more strike, she's off of YouTube. So this is a new theme for her, that she's being banned or taking away her income. Apparently, she was living off of the income from her YouTube channel, which is never a good idea. The advice, the saying, "Don't quit your day job," really should apply to UFO and conspiracy land. If you think that you're going to make a ton of money doing this, enough to earn a living, you're probably sadly mistaken. But then I'm not one of those people that's just out there pushing any bullshit, any nonsense, any fake witness to, alien space battles with no evidence. Maybe she could, I guess, make a living because people want to hear that information, even if they know that it's probably not true. But it is what it is, friends. So she's complaining right now that her YouTube channel may be taken down at any moment, though she continues to do stupid things like put that person from the pandemic documentaries on and interview them. Not a good idea if you want to keep your YouTube channel to do things like that. So, my friends, we're going to cite fair use. I'm going to share this video, which is titled "Kerry Interviewed by Robert David Steele Regarding the Space War and Current Events." Some of you may not. Did you know there's a space war currently being waged, and only Kerry Cassidy has the information about it? Everybody else doesn't know about it. Only Kerry Cassidy knows all about the secret space war that's being raging in other star systems. And who did she get that information from? Mark Richards, a convicted murderer that's been in prison for 35 years. Somehow he knows all about the secret space war. It's ridiculous. Let's get into it, friends. This is a transformative work. I'm citing fair use. We're educating the public about crazy Kerry Cassidy, and I'm giving everyone a ticket to ride her crazy train today. So all aboard, friends. We're getting all aboard the Kerry Cassidy crazy train. This video is a short video. It's about 30 minutes. We'll be going through it, stopping, commenting. That's why I'm saying fair use. We're critiquing this. We're discussing it in the live chat. This is fair use. Okay, friends, let's get on the crazy train. And by the way, I said I wasn't going to do this, but she makes my job easy here, because in this short interview, she talks about a whole bunch of different crazy shit that she has no evidence for. And so I don't have to explain it, because we could just listen to the bullshit spewing out of her mouth and know that she's full of shit. But I don't have to explain it all. We can just listen to her tell these ridiculous stories. Let's get into it, friends. I'm citing fair use. This is a transformative work. Okay. Interview by Robert David Steele, Space Wars and Current Events. And this is from November 10th.
Okay, great. We're both recording. We can both use this video as we wish. Kerry, I have known you for a long time, and I've really respected all the work that you've done with Project Camelot. You gave people like David Wilcock his start. I consider you one of a dirty dozen, maybe even a handful.
So it's her fault that David Wilcock is out there scamming people for money about fake stories. I guess he learned from the best.
5 top people in the secret space war arena. Now, recently you recommended to me a video talking about how the shuttle was actually shot down by an energy beam.
Oh, here's another one of her crazy conspiracy theories. The space shuttle was shot down by a directed energy weapon. It wasn't a, mechanical failure or, it was shot down.
And we agreed to talk now for a few minutes. Just give us an overview of what you think is going on in outer space right now and who's doing what.
Okay, well, that's a tall order, but the bottom line, and my information again comes from my sources, It also comes from my own intuitive downloads, you might call them.
Yes, her sources are very high quality people who claim to be government insiders, but then when you look into them, they turn out to be convicted child molesters, or let's say court-martialed child molesters. That's one of her sources. Who's her other source? Mark Richards, a man that was convicted of murder 35 years ago and has been in prison for 35 years, but still claims that before he was arrested, he was a member of the secret space program and he fought aliens and stuff. She has such high quality sources that we should trust. We should trust a man that's in jail for murder, right? And we should trust a man who was court-martialed for molesting children. These are the quality of her sources. What's her other source? Her superpowers. She's got superpowers, bro. She gets precognition downloads. Great.
And it also comes from what we call triangulation. That is when 3 or more sources agree on something, then I take it seriously.
And I just want to stop it here. This is ridiculous. Just because 3 of her fake sources tell the same bullshit story doesn't make that story any more believable. You have to vet your sources, Crazy Cassidy. You have to vet the sources. If your sources are a stolen valor idiot in the form of Randy Kramer, a convicted murderer, and a man that was, court-martialed for molesting children, you're somehow going to trust those 3 sources because they all tell similar stories. And by the way, a lot of people in this UFO con grifter game tell the same stories. They all steal from each other. They borrow from each other. You know, they take 70% of one guy's story, add 30% of their own bullshit on top of it. This does not make your stories any more believable, Kerry Cassidy. 3 sources that are completely and totally suspect and have no evidentiary support telling similar stories does not make the story credible. And if you believe it does, you're a fucking idiot, Kerry Cassidy.
And do more research. So the door is always open. Things can be proven or disproven as we go along. But at the moment, my information is quite substantial. And I can say that according to Captain Mark Richards, we are fighting a war right now, strangely, in the Orion galaxy that is spilled over also onto Earth.
Captain Mark Richards is the man convicted of murder that she has been citing as a source for quite some time now. And that's ridiculous. First of all, if he's been in prison for 35 years, how the fuck would he know what's going on right now in the Orion star system? Are they calling him in prison? Are aliens calling Mark Richards in prison from the fucking Orion star system? That's quite a long distance call, Kerry Cassidy. And, you know, I don't know. I've known a few. I've had occasion that I had to contact somebody that was in prison. That's not easy to do. You know, you got to get through this and that. It's ridiculous. Who's calling Mark Richards from the Orion star system to let him know all about the alien space wars that are taking place? Who's doing that? Do we get to know who's? No, of course not. She just says this shit like it's factually correct. She's an idiot if she believes that some guy in prison is getting communications from another fucking star system. You're a fucking idiot, Kerry Cassidy.
We've been fighting with various alien races now for many centuries. Maybe ever since humans came to the planet. So initially, this planet was considered to be belonging to the reptilians and the Draco, and they will continue to try to exercise their will over humans. And specifically, the reptilians are called the marauders of the galaxy.
A recurring theme with her is these reptilian bad guy aliens. And by the way, if we have been fighting with aliens for thousands of years, wouldn't there be some evidence of that? Of course there would, but not in Kerry Cassidy's crazy train world. There wouldn't be. There would just be, you know, child molesters and convicted murderers as proof. It's fucking ridiculous.
So it's not just this planet and these humans, but it's actually planets and galaxies that the reptilians will go around and try to dominate and take over, and also use as food sources. And for
Did you hear that? Food sources. They eat us. These reptilian aliens like to eat humans. We're a delicacy. I've heard her say that once before on another crazy video.
trading, because they use humans or humanoids as a trading source. So they trade with other races that do use us as slaves, and that includes, sex slaves, but for food and also other nefarious uses.
So she's saying that the aliens not only eat us, but they fuck us too. Kerry Cassidy right here is saying they take us, we become sex slaves, they fuck us, and they eat us. Great. This is some high quality information, Kerry Cassidy.
We're also, by the way, used because of our ingenuity in building and flexibility, and even the
Yeah, why would a super advanced race of aliens need humans who were hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years technologically less advanced than them? Why would they need us to build anything for them? Wouldn't they just use robots or something, you dumb bitch?
Pleiadians, who are in most cases supposed to be our friends, and certainly we are descended from them in part, and they're descended also from Lyra, as we are. But they also like to use us for the front lines in their war with the reptilians and Draco. So humans are fighters.
Who's in charge for Earth? Now, I've heard that there's a multinational secret space force, and that China, Russia, and the United States are in alignment. Is that correct?
It's supposed to be. However, there
Yeah, and Robert David Steele, you're a fucking idiot too. Because China, Russia, and the United States can't even agree on simple things like fucking trade agreements. But somehow we're going to build, interstellar spaceships together. And this is crazy.
are extenuating circumstances. And one of those circumstances is that China and North Korea are at the moment aligned with a sort of new guys on the block type of alien race. And I can't tell you who that is. I might have a conjecture on that. They've always been aligned with the Draco, and therefore, if we are in partnership with them in the secret space program, it may be keeping your enemies close, or your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah, and here's another recurring theme. The enemies, our enemies here on Earth, are always aligned with the reptilian bad guy aliens. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Hitler and the Nazis, they were aligned with the reptilian aliens. Now China and Korea are enemy, they're aligned with the reptilian aliens. You always got to put the reptilian aliens in with our villains, right? They're our villains and they're aligned with reptilian aliens.
But my understanding at the moment is that we're actually not on the same side as China.
How's the United States doing?
Well, in the war in the Orion galaxy right now, according to Mark Richards again,
according to a convicted murderer with no evidentiary support whatsoever that's been in prison for 35 years, he knows all about a secret space war happening in a whole nother star system.
100,000 humans are out there fighting as part of our secret space program. And we are, I think, doing a good job there. We have battles on many fronts, and we have Solar Warden that is protecting our particular galaxy. We are terraforming planets within our galaxy, like moons of Saturn and Jupiter. And
here's another point. Kerry Cassidy, you're a fucking idiot, because there are amateur astronomers all over the Earth that have super powerful telescopes. If we were terraforming other planets in our solar system, somebody would find out. Somebody would know about it.
And we are making deals with various races, including those from Aldebaran, who got involved quite early on, well, especially with the Nazis, as you may know, and they continue to be involved. They're involved also what appears to be a race of reptoids that has now been given at least part of Africa, if not all. And that comes, by the way, from, among other people, Gordon Duff.
Okay, so there's reptoid aliens that own Africa. For all you viewers or listeners that may live in Africa, I just want to tell you that I'm sorry that you didn't know that reptoid aliens own all or most of Africa right now. And where's the evidentiary support for this? She doesn't have any. She doesn't have shit. Mm-hmm.
So how are we doing? It's, you know, in any kind of war situation, fog of war and all of that, there's a lot going on. I can say that according to, again, Mark Richards, where he's a very primary witness in these regards, because
yes, this is her major source. Mark Richards, a man convicted of murder who's been in jail, I believe, for 35 years, most of his life.
He was a captain of the Space Force, and he continues to be tapped even to this day, even by the sort of new rendition, which is brought forward, at least in the public eye. You know,
why would Kerry Cassidy? You're a fucking idiot. If there is a such thing as a secret space force, why would they contact a guy that's been in prison for 35 years and out of their program for 35 years? For what purpose would they contact a convicted murderer? Why would they need a guy in prison? Why would they even communicate with a guy in prison for 35 years? It makes no sense. She can't even construct a good reason for using this crazy source that's a convicted murderer. It's just that guy's a convicted murderer. He's sitting around in prison. She goes and visits him. He tells her a bunch of bullshit stories and she runs with them.
Space Force that Trump has brought to the force. So
but Richards is in prison now.
He has been in prison for over, actually it's around 35 years.
Yeah, 35 years.
For most of his super adult, you know, his adult life. I mean, prior to that, he was raised in the secret space program. So he got involved very early on with a father and a grandfather.
Or he's a bored guy in prison that is telling people stories about aliens because he's got nothing better to do, sitting in a fucking prison cell all day, you dumb bitch.
Who will also supplying information to what would become our secret space program. And his grandfather was working with Tesla. His
grandfather was working with Tesla. You know whose grandfather also worked with Tesla? Pete Peterson. Isn't it funny how these assholes all steal parts of their story from other assholes telling fake stories? Pete Peterson's grandfather was supposed to be a lab assistant for Tesla. I checked in with the Tesla historian, and I checked both Pete Peterson as Peterson and his mother's maiden name, and there is no evidentiary support that Pete Peterson's, any relative of Pete Peterson, ever worked with or for Tesla. I have a feeling if we check Mark Richards out with the Tesla historian, we'll find there is no evidentiary support or, you know, factual evidence that can prove that Mark Richards, any family member of Mark Richards, ever worked for Tesla. And I've said this time and time again. All these con artists, UFO grifters, they always got to pull Tesla into their bullshit stories. Mark Richards is no different.
Father was a very well-respected Air Force. I forget what his rank was, but high-level Air Force. I can't. It was above captain, but I don't know. I forget the name.
So are there two competing space programs? Is there a Navy space program and an Air Force space program?
Okay, not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, there is, what we have are a surface military and an underground secret space program. Now, there is a feed, a sort of a flow through between the two, as well as with our military industrial complex that involves high tech and goes to places like Kazakhstan, where we have a base and a major sort of super modern city and so on. So, but to get back to the different groups of military are aligned with various groups of aliens.
Yes, and this is a continuing narrative with her, that we are aligned. I believe she said that we are aligned with the benevolent grays, because there's all different kinds of gray aliens. So we're aligned with the benevolent grays. China, our enemy, and North Korea, our enemy, are aligned with reptilian evil aliens. Yeah, okay.
And certain of those aliens are, in theory, are enemies of each other. So there is some there's overlap and there's also separation. And I can tell you that the Navy is said to be the head of the entire secret space program, specifically, Navy Intel and ONI. And I can say that the Air Force is more or less given that sort of over to the Navy, as I understand it. There's also the Army, and they were very involved and continue to be, I believe, with gray aliens. And those are many races of gray aliens. So it's hard to cut and dry everything, to make it simple. But understanding that there's an overall sort of leadership, from my understanding. They do have meetings in places like Exeter on this planet and also in Peru.
So the aliens and the humans are having meetings. Okay, friends, we're about 9 minutes in, and she's made, I don't know how many ridiculous, fantastical claims so far. And remember, I'm very fond of the saying, you all know that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. We're 9 minutes in, she's made all these extraordinary claims, and not only does she not have extraordinary evidence of any of her claims so far, she's got no evidence of any of her claims so far. None. She hasn't cited a reputable source that gave her any information. She doesn't have pictures, videos, nothing.
And possibly in Chile. And these meetings are with various races of ETs. So a kind of a UN that meets in these places and has been for many years.
And here is again another recurring theme with these UFO con artists, grifters, secret space program, clickbait assholes. There's some kind of galactic federation. We've heard certain other secret space program asshole talk about this. Several of them, actually. And she's running with that theme.
We have treaties. The treaties have been set up and then violated time and time again. Even going back to the early days of Camelot when we interviewed Dan Burish, he would talk about
Dan Burish, another one of her quality sources, who claimed that he worked at S4. Dan Burish basically took a lot of Bob Lazar's story and expanded on it. Again, back to the theme of take one guy's story, or 50% of it, or 70% of it, and then you got to add on your own bullshit on top of that, especially if it's already generally accepted UFO mythology, like the Bob Lazar story. Bob Lazar is the first person to mention Project Looking Glass. He's also the first person to mention S4, and Dan Burish ran with that. So all these idiot Q-tards that are mentioning Looking Glass are citing two less than credible bullshit sources for Project Looking Glass. And Dan Burish has been debunked out the wazoo. While he claimed that he was working, somebody proved that while he claimed to be working at Area 51, he was actually a parole officer, right? A probation guy dealing with people on probation in Las Vegas. And also a security guard at I believe it was a casino. How the hell he's working with an alien at Area 51 while he's also holding down a full-time job in Las Vegas? Hey, maybe they gave him a secret spaceship that he could fly back and forth, or maybe he jumped through a Stargate to get into Area 51. Dan Burish is a fucking lying bullshit con artist. That's all she has for her so-called sources. You can look up Dan Burish interviews with her, and it is laughable, the shit that guy talks about.
The Tau 9 treaty and others that were violated. Mark has also talked about these meetings and so on. So
here we go again. Two of her sources that are completely and totally not credible agree that humans are meeting with aliens. So it must be true because two of these guys said it. Her logic is flawed. You can't take two terrible, unverifiable sources that have credibility problems and say, well, they both said it. It must be true.
It's like there's a whole world of secret space involvement.
No, I think there's a whole world of bullshit, Kerry Cassidy, that you live in a fucking fantasy land if you believe any of this shit is real.
Humans are not party to unless you're close to a certain certain level of the military, black projects, etc., and the wars and many wars and wars. At the top, there is disagreement between what are called the Luciferians and, from what I understand, kind of the Nazi contingent. But it's
Wow. I'm getting scared now because according to Kerry Cassidy, there's Draco reptilian aliens, Nazis, and Luciferians all taking part in this secret space war.
it's a fine line. So they war with each other. I'm not sure what direction to go with that.
I went through an entire career as a Marine Corps officer, and then as a spy, and then as a second-ranking civilian in Marine Corps intelligence, and I never got a clue. Now, I'm feeling, on the one hand, I'm feeling left behind, and on the other hand, I'm wondering, how is it that something like this can just go on without the second-ranking civilian in the Marine Corps intelligence community seeing it?
Finally, some logic. Hey, Robert David Steele, it couldn't, you dumbass. Why are you even entertaining this bullshittery?
Well, there's a lot of levels. First of all, mind control plays a big part. And that's also...
Oh, you got to bring in the mind wipe. These people are all mind wiped. That's another common theme. That's why they don't remember battling in the secret space wars in the Orion star system and fighting, reptilian aliens on Mars, is because after you get back, they mind wipe you.
I've interviewed people who have mind controlled and who are members of the military.
If they were mind controlled, they would not know it. If it was true that they were actually mind controlled and mind wiped, you dumb bitch.
Who also, like you, might not know, or at least think they know, anything that's going on. We've got soldiers going into programs where they're going off planet into what is commonly called 20 and back programs. This is
20 and back. Where have we heard that bullshit before? She's running with that too. You got to take the bullshit from other people and weave it into your own bullshittery. That's part of the grift.
Been talked about out in the sector for many years. People that are assigned to Mars and other planets, Randy Kramer, for example, and others who have come forward. I can tell you that. Yeah,
and here's another one. You dumb bitch. Again, people all over the earth have pretty high powerful telescopes, even hobbyists. If there was a significant human presence on Mars, as many of these people claim, there would be evidence of that. People would see structures, vehicles, infrastructure. According to her, there's hundreds of people on Mars fight with reptilian aliens. We would see some sort of habitats or something, you dumb bitch. There's no evidence of any of this.
As recently as today, I talked to somebody who was a very high level military in the Air Force
but she's not going to tell you his name, because then you could check, right? She does this all the time. She mentions, I've heard her do this. We got to come up with a way to describe this. I don't know. I would call it like the Kerry Cassidy source in an instant maneuver. When she's challenged and confronted, suddenly she comes up with a brand new source she's never mentioned that she just talked to, that's a high-ranking military official. She's doing it right now. We never get the name of the person. We don't get to see his bona fides. We don't get to see his military records to prove that he's a credible source. She just makes this shit up.
Again, validated everything I'm telling you. So
a high-ranking military official whose name I won't give you validated everything that I'm telling you. This is her attempt at bolstering her bullshit claims. And I'm sorry, crazy Kerry Cassidy. You can't just say, I talked to a military insider that he agrees with me that this is all true. Give us his name. Let's talk to him. You never get there. You never get the name of the fucking sources that she's trying to claim, bolster her bullshittery claims here. Never.
In terms of how you didn't know, one side, in essence, I think there's suspicions, okay? I think the higher up you go, even in the officers, there will be people that are suspicious. They will find out that there are sort of, in essence, what we have is a parallel track, right? And I don't know if you remember the missile that went off the coast that was shot over, I think it was Catalina. This is a year or two ago, maybe more, actually more than 2 years probably. And that was shot out by one part of the military, whereas the other part of the military was completely naive about it. And it got reported as if it was a nefarious incident. Some people thought it was China. But what they don't understand is that in a sense, there are miniature battles going on between the levels of the service, but they don't clue people in. The Gulf oil spill, for example, had to do with the Falklands War, had to do with the AI and the black goo. All of
the AI and the black goo. So the AI and the black goo right now, basically, here's her source for that. It's a fucking episode of the X-Files, you dumb bitch. That's a fictional television show, and idiots like you and other people have run with that as being real somehow.
This was unknown to most of the military, to most of people even that were on the platform. But I can tell you that I had a whistleblower who did work out there and did get clued in as to what was going on and validated the space program side of that. The fact
Again, she has a whistleblower. What's his name? Where's his military records? Let's check into the source. Make sure it's a credible source. She never does that. Never. She just says shit. I've got a whistleblower. You know what, Kerry Cassidy? I've got a whistleblower. Then if you can do it, I can do it. I've got a whistleblower that worked for you and told me that you sit around watching too many episodes of fucking Stargate SG-1 and Star Trek and come up with this bullshit that you sell people. If you can do it, so can I, bitch.
That we're fighting a group of aliens who have invaded Earth centuries ago, actually. And so there's so many levels at which it leaks through. I can tell you that I've talked to low-level soldiers, some of whom were in like Alabama, and I have these testimony in various interviews that I've done, and it's also off the record talks. So they report to me that they have been used in programs that involve grays, that involve one individual who his group was involved in a whole operation, and he just joined. He was just getting through boot camp, and they were used in an operation that involved gray aliens. And
again, Kerry Cassidy's logic is fucking retarded. Pardon the word, that's a bad word. Is stupid. Listen. If the government was so concerned with keeping alien presence and alien space battles and the presence of extraterrestrials on Earth a secret, they would not take a guy just out of boot camp and give him access to aliens or that information. They would only, and it just makes it doesn't make any logical sense that you would take a guy just out of boot camp and have him interacting with aliens and shit, because then he could go shoot his mouth off, you dumb bitch. It makes no sense. And again, where are the names of these people? Let's look at their military records and at least verify they really were in the military. For all she knows, these people were never in the military. She never checks any source. She just runs with whatever bullshit people tell her. Or none of these sources exist and she just makes this shit up.
And he became aware of it. Sometimes the memories leak through. The mind control is not sufficient.
Back to the mind wipe.
I can tell you, for example, Robert Saleh, who is someone who testifies about the Minot Air Force Base and other missile launch platforms where he worked, and I forget the exact names. He's testified and is quite well known, and I've interviewed him on this as well. And he himself knows that when he was working for the military, even in Rendlesham, he was called in to be given some medical attention that he didn't need. And so you can, and I have witnesses that are called to the dentist. All of a sudden they're suddenly are supposed to get some kind of work done there. These are the places where they will put in the mind control.
Yes, and we mentioned this Kerry Cassidy crazy train. You got to go full in on the crazy train. And the dentist, that's who puts the listening devices in your teeth, right? So they can monitor you and make sure that you're not telling people the truth about those aliens, bro. This is a bullshit, crazy conspiracy that she's been mentioning, dentists putting listening devices in people's teeth. That is the height of conspiracy land crazy talk. No evidence, just a statement, has no value.
And the blocks. And sometimes the bleed through occurs. Duncan O'Finian is a famous super soldier who testified that to us that after about the age of 50, your memories start coming back. So the reality.
Well, that's good news for a certain super secret space program astronaut, right? Because I think he just turned 50. So we're going to be getting whole new stories from him if this is true, that your mind wipe memories come back after 50. Good news for him.
Is that it is actually shocking how few whistleblowers we really have, when in fact,
you idiot. Well, there's plenty of whistleblowers, but none of them are credible. And you guys took the term whistleblower and made it worthless. You know who is a whistleblower? Edward Snowden is a whistleblower. You know who else could be considered a whistleblower? Julian Assange. Those are real whistleblowers. They have consequences. They don't just get to go around to UFO conferences calling themselves whistleblowers, making money telling their bullshit story. A whistleblower has real consequences to their life. None of Kerry Cassidy's bullshit so-called whistleblowers have had any consequences, even the ones that are basically stolen valor. And by the way, stolen valor is a felony, a federal felony. So if you claim that you worked for the military and you profit from those claims and you didn't, that's a felony. None of them have even been prosecuted, and some of them could be.
In fact, there are so many of the military who don't even realize they've been involved in something. I mean, this is the real root of, you might say, PTSD. A lot of these soldiers have gone off planet. They don't even know. They don't realize they thought they were.
Again, with the logic. Come on, you crazy bitch. How are you going to go on? You're going to get in a fucking spaceship and go to another planet and battle space reptilians, but you're not going to remember any of it?
Ship to Iraq. They were fighting in Iraq, and their screen memory is one thing, and what actually happened is another thing altogether. And this also includes, according to witnesses, alien abduction. So the military, our military, will implant false memories of alien abduction to cover up them being individuals being MILAB'd by the military. But oftentimes the strange thing, and this is sort of, I don't know, a hall of mirrors, because aliens will also be involved in that aspect. So it's
a hall of mirrors. She's stealing that term from Linda Moulton Howe, whose famous statement, the UFO phenomenon is a hall of mirrors with the floor of quicksand. Again, they all steal from each other, borrow terms. It's crazy.
When some person says that they've got a screen memory, they realize it was a screen memory, they've got another memory. You're familiar with the way mind control works, and there will be levels upon levels to basically make a sort of a fail safe, so humans don't tap into what has really gone on with them.
Oh yeah, screen memories.
Should humanity be worried?
Yes, this is when.
Well, Robert David Steele, if they're eating us and fucking us, I think we should be worried. These aliens might eat us and fuck us. Like, what order did they do that, by the way, Kerry Cassidy? Did they fuck you first, use you as a sex slave, and fuck you for a while, and then eat you? Or do they eat you, or like eat just the half of you that they don't want to fuck? Like, imagine if they just ate you from the waist up, and then they kept the part. I don't know. This is crazy. Kerry Cassidy says that reptilian aliens keep humans as sex slaves and eat them. So I want to know, if I get to interview Kerry Cassidy, one of my major questions is going to be, what order does that happen in? Do they eat you first and then fuck you, or do they fuck you first and then eat you? I want to know. This is important information. And yeah, we should be worried if there's reptilian aliens out there eating fucking human beings. God damn, I'm worried. Look, I got enough shit to worry about, Kerry Cassidy. I don't need to worry about getting fucked and eaten by a reptilian alien, you crazy bitch.
One of my points, and this is why I do the job I do, because this is all about races that are preying on humans, specifically on our children, on our young people, taking them off planet as slaves, using them in various capacities, killing them, eating them, so on. Sorry to be so.
They're killing and eating children. Then yeah, we should be worried. I've got children. I don't want my children eaten by reptilian aliens, Kerry Cassidy. Say it ain't so.
Graphic. And this is where the whole pedophilia links in. And this is
you
where
gotta roll in the pedophilia, the pedophile rings, the mole children, the Montauk. She believes in that shit bullshit too.
They're also the adrenochrome and
adrenochrome
manufacture of it. All of this comes from the Draco reptilian lineages that have also, and also the Greys that are actually a form of reptilian, that have actually been infiltrated our genome, the human genome on this planet. So there are a lot of racial lines that some of whom are a lot more, you might say, reptilian than others. And they are part of they have these proclivities. You're talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his island and who they could attract, the so-called blue bloods of the royalty, the lines of royalty. So
yes, you got to bring in the royal bloodlines, and you got to bring in Jeffrey Epstein in your crazy conspiracy land, crazy train.
So-called royalty. All of this goes back to preying on other humans, to a power over paradigm that we have been operating on here on Earth for eons, and have been victims of, if you want to call it that. So in my view, humans need to know their prey. We need to know who the enemy is in order to protect us and our children.
Yeah, well, that I agree with her. If there's really aliens fucking and eating us, we need to know about it. And goddamn, the military is keeping this a secret, that reptilian aliens are fucking us and eating us. That's a crime against humanity, Kerry Cassidy. I'm with you. If there's reptilian aliens fucking and eating us and eating our children, we need to know about it. So she's doing God's work, letting us all know about the truth about aliens, bro.
And this is why it's so important.
Protect ourselves. Are we being protected?
There is some protection, but not much, not much in my view. What this is a sort of a yin and yang, positive, negative polarity planet. At this time, we've been 3D, we're actually moving into 4D now. But the bottom line is that in such a planet, the souls that come in are given these challenges to either, to stay alive and to learn quickly, obviously.
Yeah, you better learn quickly how to not get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. I'm worried myself. Like, I gotta figure out how to not get fucked and eaten by reptilian Draco overlords.
And if they don't, they simply die. Now you can reincarnate and come back into the game again, obviously.
Oh, that's good news.
So we're really talking about a sort of a might makes right, a challenging scenario in which it's learn or die. And under these circumstances, humans have had to learn very quickly, and some astonishingly. See, the trouble is that the humans became collaborators with the enemy, so to speak. So we have a large contingent of humans who now want to deceive the other half of humans, so to speak. And they have sided with the enemy, with the Dracos and the reptilians.
God damn it, then this is breaking news. There are human traitors that are helping Draco reptilian aliens fuck and eat other humans. That is shocking information, Kerry Cassidy. Goddamn traitors helping these Draco reptilian aliens fuck us and eat us. That's disturbing.
And other various races, some of whom are trying to become our friends, like the mantids. Simon Parkes will tell you that he believes he's a mantid hybrid.
Yeah, he's half mantid hybrid alien. He has an insectoid alien mom, right? Simon Parkes, another bullshit crazy source she cites all the time.
and that the mantids have now sided with the humans, but they used to.
Well, good news. We have
actually,
allies.
prey
Maybe
on
the mantid aliens can help us fight the reptilian aliens so that they don't fuck us and eat us all.
us on a regular basis. And so there are various contingents going on here on Earth, and we are, in fact, this election is a perfect example of the Luciferians and alien races trying to sort of put into place once and for all their new world order to get rid of any sense of freedom on the planet. They've been using COVID for that purpose. It's not about a disease of any kind. It's about control.
So COVID came from aliens?
And so
Yeah,
they want to
massive
control
sufficient.
humans.
So your bottom line, does President Trump know about all of this, and is he doing the right thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
he's
good.
well read in.
That's good news. Maybe President Trump can help us so that we don't all get fucked and eaten by Draco reptilian aliens.
And I'm sure of that. And I can say that he is working along with his team and John F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, John F. Kennedy Jr. is dead, you dumb bitch. And here we go with the cute tard conspiracy theories. JFK Jr. is alive. He's going to come back and be Trump's running mate. He faked his death. This bitch is crazy, you know? And you know what? It is a fucking tragedy and a travesty. Imagine being related to JFK Jr. and knowing that crazy Kerry Cassidy and a bunch of other internet conspiracy assholes are running around talking about your dead relative. Let that man rest in peace, you fucking crazy bitch. How would you like it if somebody talked about your relative that died, faking their own death and being involved in all this crazy conspiracy alien bullshit? And this is Love and Light, right? These are Love and Light people. She's a precog, and she's running around selling fake stories about JFK Jr. being alive. How do you think that makes his family feel, right? How would you like to be that person's cousin or mother or son or, daughter or whatever?
The wrongs that have been perpetrated upon humanity, including the early death of John F. Kennedy. Now,
yeah, so JFK Jr. is going to come back from the dead and save us all.
The scenario, it's a constant, in other words, a gain on the light, if you call it light, a battle between light and dark. You get a gain on the light and a gain on the dark, and we go like this constantly. So it's that kind of a planet, and we go from one side of the polarity to the other until we learn how to basically transcend and integrate both sides, both the light and the dark. And we live lives that encompass our learning curve in each sector. So,
all right, we're up to 21 minutes of her telling these fake fucking fairy tale huckster bullshit stories about aliens. And so far, she has presented not one piece of credible evidence about any of this shit that she's talking about. Not one piece, friends.
I would say that a person who is nearing ascension would have had to live lives on both sides, integrate them both, and feel able to deal with both.
Got to bring ascension in too.
Fluidity, understanding, and love in the end, I guess.
All right, you brought up.
Well, there you have it. You know what can save us from evil Draco reptilian aliens fucking us and eating us? Love. Love can save us from the evil Draco reptilians fucking us and eating us. That's good news, friends. All we have to do is love them, I guess. Are we supposed to love them while they're fucking us? Are we supposed to love them while they're eating us? How does love stop Draco reptilian aliens from fucking us and eating us, Kerry Cassidy, you dumbass?
John F. Kennedy Jr. I've done an analysis, and I've come to the conclusion that it's 80% likely that he and his wife are alive.
Robert David Steele, you fucking asshole. Tell us about your analysis proving that JFK Jr. and his wife are 80% for sure alive. You're a fucking idiot too.
Talk to someone who claims they have actually met him recently. That is, and
Lovely.
He's alive. What can you add to our sense of whether Kennedy Jr. is alive or not?
Well, I can say, and I have talked about this in other places, but I had, during this summer, I had a night in which for some reason, I simply had nonstop dreams that didn't seem like dreams, that seemed stronger and more real than reality.
And here is another Kerry Cassidy, crazy Kerry Cassidy prover move. We're just going to call it the crazy Kerry Cassidy prover move. When somebody asks you for evidence, you just got to bring in your superpowers. She has precognitive dreams, right? And that's her proof that JFK Jr. is alive, because she dreamed about him being alive. You're a fucking idiot, Kerry Cassidy. You don't have any proof of anything. Your fucking bullshit psychic superpower dreams are not proof of anything, you dumb bitch.
In which I was interacting with John F. Kennedy Jr. and talking with him, interacting with a group of people and him, interacting with Trump and him, nonstop all night long. So I would go to sleep for a short time, then I would wake up, I would recall what I was seeing, I would go to sleep again, wake up, and it went on all night like that. And in the process, when I woke up to this reality during those times, I would think that this reality was absolutely not reality, and I would go back into this other reality. What that told me,
multiple timelines, and I
you got to bring in the multiple timelines.
Recently reviewed the music of time, about frequencies and time and space travel. So I have a completely open mind on this, even though I myself have no direct knowledge. Let's end on what I hope will be a happy note. How do you see?
Yeah, I hope they're going to end on a happy note too, because so far, all this is bad news. We're involved in a secret space war with, malevolent, evil, reptilian, alien overlords that want to fuck us and eat us. That's bad news. Let's see if she can spin some good news and end on a good note. How the fuck do you end on a good note, Robert David Steele, after she's been talking about Draco reptilian aliens fucking us and eating us?
See the next 2 months going in the United States of America?
Okay, well, let me clarify, because I am a time traveler. I'm all time travelers, but I'm very aware of different timelines.
That she's a time traveler in addition to being a superhero with precognitive, super secret psychic powers, right?
And I will tell you that this was not a different timeline, for what it's worth. Everyone's going to have their own point of view. But what I was seeing was the future and the now, maybe the eternal now, but nonetheless, it was this timeline that I was dealing with. I don't know how I know that. I just know that. So, but in terms of the future, this has been very interesting for me, because as a precog, I will get validation. So,
bitch, I think you watched that fucking movie Minority Report too much, because she says precog a lot, and they had precogs in the movie Minority Report, right? Is it Minority Report? Yeah. Where the psychics, where they would arrest you for a murder you had not yet committed, because the precogs would alert that secret force to go arrest you because you're about to murder somebody.
I get things that come into my mind like little film strips, and then they play out in front of my eyes later. And sometimes it can be years, and a lot of years. Like, I have a whole library of this stuff in my head. And sometimes it's something very brief, and I could have a dream tonight and it could happen tomorrow. And I've had even recent validations. So I kind of
bottom line on now to February.
All right. So what I'm trying to say is that it's been very foggy. In other words, nothing is really coming very clear other than small things. So what I'm seeing in the future is we're not wearing masks. Since Biden's agenda is that we wear masks all the time, and he's actually said this, which is completely absurd. I have to say that I don't think he's going to last. And I don't think Kamala is either, as far as being a president. So I don't think they have a long life, as in that role. Now, I hope and I believe that President Trump has all the evidence that the election has been stolen.
And here we go. She's a huge supporter of President Trump, and all the Q-tard fantasy stuff, and it's all set up 4D chess. Trump knew they were going to try to steal the election. He marked the ballots. All of this nonsense bullshittery she folds in with her other conspiracy nonsense.
Further evidence that has come behind the scenes to me that validates that.
Okay, again, with the Kerry Cassidy prove remove, I've got other evidence that has come to me that validates what I'm saying, but she doesn't share any of that evidence because she doesn't have any fucking evidence of anything she talks about. It's a fantasy land, folks.
Believe that they're going to make a very good case in the courts, and there's no reason why they shouldn't win because it's the truth. The elections have always been stolen, but now they're going to demonstrate how, and this is just one way they've been stolen. There are a multitude of ways. I don't know if they're going to get into the Dominion software and all of that, but certainly we know that goes on. Whether Trump will be victorious in the courts is another matter, because the dark side never sleeps either. So people have to understand, you can rerun the election, you can review everything in the courts, but some of those judges can be bought, can be threatened, et cetera, et cetera. And how do you?
Yes, because maybe they went to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island and we've got dirt on them. So, yeah, the evil cabal that's trying to steal the election can bribe the judges. It's ridiculous.
Prevent this. There has to be things in place that Trump has foreseen in order to make sure that these things are going to be brought forward in a true and honest way. It's an uphill battle. I do believe there's every reason to believe that Trump is actually supposed to fulfill the next 4 years here on the planet, because everything they set in place during the first 4 years was to come to fruition the last 4 years. If he gets halted in the middle of that, it seems like a huge crime against humanity. Also,
yeah, or he just lost the election, you dumb bitch.
Because understanding that Trump and his team are all about disclosure of the truth. They want to show people the truth about what's going on the planet, and that does include.
Yeah, the man that won't even show us his tax returns wants to show all the American people the truth. I'm sorry, Kerry Cassidy, but your logic is, you don't have any logic. You're a fucking idiot. You're just a fucking idiot to believe any of this shit.
Underground bases, the children that have been held.
Oh, the mole people
in underground bases, and
the mole children.
So on. And as
save
well as
the mole children
that need to be coming forward. If there was to be cut short, then he wouldn't be able to fulfill his promise and what he was actually incarnated to do, fully and completely. And that doesn't.
Trump was incarnated to save the mole children that are being sex trafficked around the world. It's the first I've heard that. Okay, I thought he was incarnated to, be a rich, spoiled kid that grew up to be a rich, spoiled adult.
Doesn't seem right to me. Whether, now I'm not, I can only see so far. And like I say, I have seen myself in the future, and I'm joking with my partner. We're at an airport and I'm looking around and most people are not wearing masks. Something had to change in a positive way. One, we're traveling, and two, they're not wearing masks.
Oh, so here we go with the crazy Kerry Cassidy prover maneuver. When you need evidence, you just say you had dreams, and that's your evidence. I'm sorry, Kerry Cassidy. Dreams are not evidence of anything other than that you sleep and have dreams occasionally. She's crazy.
That's enough for me to say it's very possible.
That's enough for her. She has dreams. She doesn't need evidence.
I even wonder if Joe Biden is working for Trump, and this is part of the WrestleMania drama.
Yeah, Joe Biden is working for Donald Trump.
Been scripted out.
It's a wrestling script.
Is so stupid as to defy belief. So, all right, let me give you the last word, and then we'll stop. Anything that you want to share, like what's going on in Antarctica?
Well, apparently there's a control center for planet Earth in Antarctica. So you might well wonder that, and it is worth discussing as to how Trump is dealing with those beings, okay?
Yeah, Donald Trump is dealing with those beings because he's got a secret Antarctic control center base. Kerry Cassidy, you dumb bitch. You, like everybody else, love to bring in Antarctica. She's always talking about those underground bases in Antarctica and the Nazi, breakaway civilization in Antarctica. You know why? Because it's convenient. Like nobody can go there and check that I'm just telling fairy tales. but you can if you really want to. If you really knew anything about bases, you could get your ass on a plane, get your ass in a helicopter, and show us the fucking bases. But none of these assholes that talk about Antarctic bases or Antarctic aliens or any of this shit in Antarctica, Linda Moulton Howe, her, many others, Michael Sala, all these jerk off fucking con artist assholes never show us the proof of anything in Antarctica, but they love talking about it.
Because this sort of the Nazi underlay that came through with the Third Reich has gone into the Fourth Reich, and it's no accident that what we're seeing in terms of the control, and it's manifesting in England in a very diabolical way as I speak, and other countries. And I have to say, all of this agenda has been rolling out very quickly and just recently. So the Nazi agenda seems to be coming to the fore more and more and more. And that is stunning to see that really in your face at this time on planet Earth. So Trump and his team have to fight that. They have to fight the good fight. I think we may go to a civil war.
I hope that Trump and his team fight the good fight, because I don't want to get fucked and eaten by reptilian overlords.
Civil war, to be honest with you. I am not so sure that things are going to calm down, even if Trump gets into power. I have had precog dreams of the future that are not pleasant. Okay, so there are some things that could come down. There could be some heavy duty invasion going on from China into the United States. Apparently, it's already happening in Canada. So I warn.
She shared a video that was from a fucking movie and claimed that China was invading parts of Canada. This crazy dumb bitch.
People about that. I'm trying to warn people about that. I don't think Biden's working for Trump. I think he's working for the Greys and for China. And
whoa, here you have it. Joe Biden. Maybe that's how he got elected. The gray aliens helped him steal the election. And they're pumping him up with adrenochrome every time he has to give a public speech so he's coherent. These conspiracy theory assholes are just ridiculous.
I do believe that the Chinese Communist Party are intent in taking over control of the world, and especially the United States and the resources and brain trust here, if anything. So this is the battle for the future and what we're involved in that's beginning to manifest now. And, it's an incredible time to be alive. And I wish that.
Why is it an incredible time to be alive if I could get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens? That doesn't sound like a good time to be alive, Kerry Cassidy. Doesn't sound like a good time getting fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. She can't even keep her fucking shit story straight here. I would think that if there's a big possibility that you could get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens, that's not a good time to be alive, but that's just me. Maybe Kerry Cassidy wants to get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. I don't know.
My wish is that the Trump administration and the Trump team will come forward with as much heavy duty ammunition at this time. Instead of promising that this is going to happen and that arrest is happening and these rescues are happening, I think that they should be coming forward during these crucial months before January 20th with the real goods. It doesn't mean everything. I understand that they're trying to, show people, but then show us what you've done. And if you want people to be enlightened and to see a different way. It doesn't mean you're going to change them. By the way, you can show somebody all night and all day, but if they don't want to see, whether it's Columbus or anything else, they're going to attribute it to whatever they want. So this is where we are. We're at a very interesting juncture. That's my parting words is that they come forward with some of the goods, because he has been fighting with one hand tied behind his back. He has Trump cards in hand, and I think you should bring his Trump cards.
Trump has Trump cards. Yeah.
Let's end on that. No, thank you, Kerry. I have a completely open mind, and I value your richly hard-earned perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. And I got some very good news today, I have to say, and And that makes me all the more hopeful about the future because, you know, if individuals will come forward to tell the truth, we're going to be in a lot better shape.
She got some good news today, along with the bad news she's sharing that you could be fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. So this is our short ride. All aboard, friends. This was our short ride on the Kerry Cassidy fucking crazy train. I don't even know what to say. I think I said all that I need to say about her, everything that she's talking about while we commented on her crazy train. I'm very upset though, because I really don't want to get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. And again, in what order? In what order does that take place? Or do they just fuck some of us, eat others? Do they? I don't know. Kerry Cassidy has been out there for 20 plus years selling this bullshit. Or at least 16 years. I think she was involved with UFOs and conspiracy land for a few years before starting Project Camelot. Yeah. So we're going to take comments and questions from the live chat. Sorry, I didn't realize that we went on this far. I was kind of, you know, in the moment there, watching Kerry Cassidy spew this treasure trove of bullshittery. You guys know I love that. I love that saying. Kerry Cassidy, every time you hear her speak, just has a treasure trove of bullshittery for us all. So comments and questions from the live chat. I tuned Kerry out every time you press play. Yeah, I didn't want to do this, Spooky. I said I wasn't going to, but I thought I could do a 30-minute video. Because the 30-minute video, it's not, you know, I could withstand that much bullshit, but sometimes she's got a 3-hour, she's got 3 hours of shit, right? And I can't do it. Robin Eaglesong is here. Shout out to Robin Eaglesong. Well, I've just received an education today. Robin Eaglesong, I hope you don't get fucked and eaten by reptilian overlords. You know, I don't want to see any of my friends, especially any of my audience members, get fucked and eaten by reptilian aliens. Lee Veltman, the Yetis drove all lizards out of Canada. Yeah, maybe that's what happened. Oh God, it's this is truly a fucking crazy train. You get on this crazy train, and like I said, there's nothing that's too crazy for her. Fucking Stargates, Atlantis, mer people, reptilian overlords fucking and eating people, Trump's, you know, aligned with good aliens, and Biden is aligned with China and the evil aliens. If reptilians even came close to our beer in Canada, we would kick their ass. Yeah, Canadians don't fuck around when it comes to beer, right, Dennis? The FBI has everything on Hunter. If they broke the law, he would have been arrested. And Fox News reviewed it all before it was given to the FBI, and they found nothing to say on Joe. Well, I don't know about that, Vanessa Thor. Here's what I'll say on Hunter Biden. I believe that he, like many rich and affluent people, used his family name to profit. And if he's using his family name to profit while his father is the vice president, I kind of have a problem with that. I think that would make him, that would be an issue, right? All right, DM me on Twitter or on Facebook or email me. We can do that, but I have to be available to get my son off the bus, so we can't go too long with the panel, because those things tend to go for a long time. I wanted to make this one a short one and just get on the Kerry Cassidy fucking crazy train. But seeing how we have great numbers right now, we have, I don't know, 45 in the YouTube chat, a few in the Twitch chat, and people watching on Facebook. So it's probably a good idea to keep going for a while longer. I can do another half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour if I, you know, my wife has got to go to work and I have to be available to get my son off the bus. And it is what it is. But I'm liking this daytime show. We started out and the numbers were very bad. I guess people found us eventually, which is great. So we're going to continue trying to do a day show. Sorry, I'm way behind in the live chat. Wait, let me put that banner back up. 1 second here. Where is the email banner? Okay, here's my email. I'll check in with Gmail. And while I wait for people to send me requests for the link to join in the show, we can check a few things like the PayPal donation situation. I want to give a shout out to Dennis Coach, who just became a Patreon supporter. Am I saying that right, Dennis? Please tell me phonetically how to say your name, Coke or Coach. I'm not sure, but thank you for your generosity, your support, for becoming a Patreon member. For those that don't know, you get a bunch of benefits. We do an audio journal every month. You get portions of the Mind Hack project before it's a retail ready project. And let me see. 1 second. Okay, let me get the StreamYard link here. I'll get the invitations going. Yeah, we can have a panel, but let's try to keep it specifically. Let's try to keep the discussion focused as much as possible on getting on or off the Kerry Cassidy crazy train, so that we can, I just don't want people to tune in for this Kerry Cassidy show, and then at the end we have an hour or two talking about completely different subjects. So let's try to stick to Kerry Cassidy. You can share your experience with Kerry Cassidy, with Project Camelot, watching it over the years, seeing her evolve into a superpower psychic. Okay, 1 second here. We have, I believe, Robin Eagle Song sent me a StreamYard link. We're going to send you that. Let's check in. People sending me strange messages. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to check in with my Gmail here. If you want, you can email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com, and you can join right in the stream, right in the show. If anybody is unable to do that but would like to just call in, I suppose we could do that as well. Yeah, but like I said, let's try to keep the discussion to this Kerry Cassidy crazy train. And here we have Spooky. Spooky is here. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I said I wasn't going to do this, Spooky, but I had to because I thought that was a good. Don't you think that was a good example of some of the bullshittery that she, goes around hawking in 30 minutes? Like
I wasn't kidding. Every time you pressed play, I just tuned her out. Like I can't.
Yeah.
It's like I'm that like hydrophobic material. Whenever
Yes.
Kerry starts talking, I become that.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is where I fucked up. I tried to watch like a long version of her talking.
Why?
Because I'm stupid. I don't know, but
Well, at least you admit it.
No, and I couldn't make it through. I couldn't make it through 20 minutes of it because it was just crazy. So I said, let's. I sent an invite here to Solar Marshall. Oh, we have Robin Eagle Song. Let's add Robin Eagle Song. Hi, Robin. How you doing?
Oh my God, it's Blanche.
Yeah, let's try not to have our drunk Irish correspondent. Oh, and I don't know if my wife is watching, but I want to thank her. You can't tell, but behind me, it looks a little red, right? Because right behind me is a window. And so I could never do a daytime stream because it's so bright, blaring through the backdrop. But she gave me something to, fix that. So we can do day streams now, which is scary. I might have to start.
Mrs. Cambion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Cambion. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Spooky.
Hey,
It's
Robin.
it's good to see you, Robin. And now we have Solar Marshall joining in too.
Hey,
Solar Marshall,
Howdy.
everybody.
you are not allowed to talk about Bob Lazar. You have to only talk about fucking listen. And Solar Marshall, you want to do a show? We can do an update show on Bob Lazar, but let's try to keep it to Crazy Kerry Cassidy because you do have some insight knowing Mark Richards and his interactions.
Oh,
with her.
I know Kerry Cassidy.
And Mark Richards, right?
I can call her on the phone right now.
Call her up,
Do it.
call her,
Do it.
bro.
Do you want me
Get
to
her on
call
the
her?
show.
Do you really want me to call her?
Do it.
Call
her right
Okay,
now.
hang on a minute.
Tell her there's a live show right now that just reviewed her interview with Robert David Steele, and we want to ask her some questions. Could she come on for a few minutes? Go ahead. It could have hurt.
Let me do a test and see if you can hear anything from my my microphone here. See if it picks it up on the phone. Let me put the speakerphone on. I'm going to call her. I'm going to say, hi, Kerry. There's a live show going on right now. Steve Cammey is doing a live show. Do you have anything to say, or what else? Or what should I say?
Yeah, you could say.
Okay, hang on. I'll call her.
And we have. I don't know about that.
She may try to attack me, dude. She can fly.
And she's got superpowers, bro.
Okay.
So she might fucking get pissed. And
hang on a minute here. Let me call her. Christ, she might try to kill me. I don't know if I can do it.
If anybody else wants to join in the show, you're welcome to join in our panel discussion about Crazy Kerry Cassidy and her interview with Robert David Steele, talking about reptilian aliens trying to fuck us and eat us.
Live show.
At the
Hang
same
on
time?
here. Right now.
Are they trying to fuck us yet?
Look what I said, Spooky. Like, do they fuck you first and then eat you, or do they eat you first and then fuck you? Do they fuck you and eat you at the same time? That's a good point. Maybe they fuck you and eat you at the same time, Spooky.
I want to know if we get a choice. You know, can we choose?
Yeah, you can just fuck me and leave me and not eat me.
Yeah. Fuck me first.
Hang on a minute here.
Oh, UFO Watchdog is here in the live chat.
Oh wow, UFO Watchdog is
good to see you, UFO Watchdog.
I've been a fan of that guy for years.
You are awesome. I want to get an interview with you if you would consent to that. That would be awesome.
I know you said not about Bob Lazar, but UFO Watchdog, I'd love to get some Lazar.
All right, you're allowed to say that much. I just didn't want you to go off for a half hour about Bob Lazar. We're trying to stick to the topic.
I'm not talking about Bob Lazar lately much.
Good to see you. Shout out to UFO Watchdog in our live chat. That makes me so happy. I love his work and site. It's awesome.
Okay, Kerry Cassidy just threatened to have the Dracos kill me. She said that she said that Mark Richards is flying above my home right now.
Yeah, and listen, isn't that a ridiculous? Like, her source for why there's a space battle going on in the Orion star system right now is Mark Richards, a guy that's been in prison for 35 years. So my question to her is, how the fuck is anybody from the Orion star system calling him up in prison and letting him know what's going on?
Here's the deal, okay? And you know I know a lot about this because I've been with Kevin Moore and all them. Okay, listen to this. The Dracos and the reptilians, whatever, they come pick him up and take him out of his cell almost 19 hours a day. They return him just in time for count. I'm not bullshitting you about this. They return him just in time for 3 counts a day.
They got a Stargate, right?
Yeah.
Teleports out.
Yeah, the funniest thing I ever heard in my life was this one. The one Mark calls the one Draco his son, the one raptor, his son. I'm trying to remember the name of him. Jeff Reed knows the name of him. I can't remember him. But anyways, the one it looks exactly like a little dinosaur right now. He claims that Mark Richards took this little dinosaur looking thing on a leash to Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding. And I've been like, oh my God, you know, Kerry, I looked through all the pictures. I said, you would think that would have caught a photographer's, attention, being that there was a little, you know
what though? Fuck you if you don't believe that Mark Richard had a dinosaur pet and brought it to the royal wedding.
Yeah.
How do you know that he didn't?
Oh,
right?
dude, she has responded to me. And she's active. She saw it. She absolutely believes this story. She is just out there, brother.
Yeah, she's according to UFO Watchdog, she's hosting a blog for Sean David Morden, who's a convicted felon now and serving time in federal prison for ripping everybody off. Yeah.
Listen, he ripped her off for $129,000. Why would he ever Why would she ever try and raise money for him? It was the inheritance she had gotten from her mother. I mean, why would she ever, unless she was in on the scam? You know,
There is good money in the crazy game. Holy crap. That's
the crazier she gets, the more donations she gets. And I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah, well, I'm about to get real crazy then. We're going to start interviewing some of these reptilian aliens that are fucking and eating people. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, bro. I'm going to find me a reptilian alien that likes to fucking eat humans, and we're going to interview them.
She was living in Malibu. She was living in Malibu, and the rent was somewhere around $6,000 a month where she lived now in Calabasas. So that should tell you what type of donation she gets a month. Yeah. I couldn't afford that, and I worked fucking well. I was working 60 hours a week, not anymore, thanks to Corona.
Thanks to Corona, yeah.
For fucking my life up, excuse my language.
Yeah, the Rona fucked us all. Trust me, I
had a good thing going.
I know, yeah. And I will never ever find work like that again. Ever. I know I won't. I know I won't. I'm done. There's too much competition, and now I'm too old.
Ageist fuckheads.
But at any rate, you know, Kerry Cassidy, she actually claims that Mark Richards, a guy that's in prison for murder, remember, he had a guy murder a guy named Crossan Hoover, and Kevin Moore would be the one to have on here, but good luck getting a hold of him. Crossing Hoover, he had Crossing Hoover, that's the guy's name, Crossy, murder this guy, Richard Baldwin, Dick Baldwin, his best friend for like a couple of $1,000s in a credit card and like a half ounce of weed.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
I mean,
we have Tierre Joyce has joined our panel.
Oh, Terry Joyce knows a lot about that stuff too.
Yeah.
Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Terry Joyce. Terry Joyce did the. Hey Terry, how about the "I will never ever forget you" because of the Kevin Moore text message show?
Oh yeah. The women talking behind his back and everything.
Yeah.
They're like discussing his bodily functions and everything. That was just I had to talk about that.
Yeah, him and his producer and his ex-wife. And if you're watching, you laughed about it, whatever, it's your fault. But Terry, that was unbelievable. I will never, ever forget you for that. Oh, my God.
I'm glad you appreciate it. I had to take it down. They gave me a privacy. Apparently, like, really underneath something that I try to scratch out, you could barely see her name. And so I had to take the images down. But I still have the footage, so I'll put it up somewhere else, I think.
He's back together with that little wife he married. He's back together with her, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
He must have got rid of. He got tired of Jennifer. You know, the crazy woman that calls you at 3 a.m. drunk.
Yes. Yeah.
Complaining about Bob Lazar.
Communicating with the other people, and they're telling me you need to be really, really careful. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle it.
Yeah. Kevin would be like, Dan, you're like not talking to my producer enough. I'm like, Kevin, she starts calling me at 3:30 in the morning, okay, till 6 in the morning, and I go to work at 6:30, dude. You know, I said she calls like 50 times.
It's weird.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard something about her. That was she actually is how she came on the project was that she was a Mark Richards groupie, basically.
Yes, she was a pen pal writer.
Yes, yeah, and
still is, weird. From what I understand.
Think that's weird. It's weird.
I think she still is because she turned on Kevin because Kevin went back with his wife and. It's such a convoluted world. How I end up mixed up in all this shit, I don't know. I lost a girlfriend over all this crazy crap. Oh, there's Kerry Cassidy right there.
Call her, bro. Call her up.
She wants. I'm sending her a link. Hang on.
Oh
my God!
Wow. How epic would it be if she actually came on?
That would be incredible.
Holy, she's gonna come on.
Oh my God!
By the way, Solar Marshall, I talked to Michael Stratt today, who told me that he can't do any interviews for a while. So, but we're gonna check back in with them in a little bit.
I'll talk to you in private, and I know why that is. It has to do with his employment.
Yeah, he has to be careful. Yeah,
some hell about a few things. And,
so really quick. Hi, Terry. Good to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Thanks. Okay, so you know about this, Carrie. You know all about all these folks they're talking about too. This is my first real introduction to Kerry Cassidy. Has she really been doing this for 20 years?
I
That
think so.
woman?
At least 16. She's had the YouTube channel for 16 years. She was
Oh,
the
I heard
first.
her name years
Her and
ago.
Bill Ryan were the first people to put like UFO conspiracy land topics on YouTube. That's why she's got a huge
back when
sublist,
she did John Lear Tells All in like 2007, 2008, it was actually really good. There was a point in time when there was good, the content was totally different. But then when her and Bill Ryan split up, I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff that went on there. She can explain it when she comes on.
Oh,
She's
I
got
hope
the
she
link
comes
right
on.
now. She's got
What
the
a-
link.
What a great day. I always heard CW.
Do you have her cell phone number? Maybe you could just call her and we could at least get
I
her.
do have her cell phone number, but I don't understand how you would hear her through my phone.
You just put your phone on speaker. This is all I do, believe it or not. There's all these complicated ways I try to get callers into the show. And then another show host said, no, you just put your phone on speakerphone, turn it all the way up and put it near the microphone and people can hear it pretty good.
I'm wearing Beat Solos though. Mine doesn't have a microphone that stick out. It's internal.
Okay, yeah, that might not work. Damn it.
She'll come on. She's got a microphone and all that. Invite her on. Say right now, she's probably watching this. Say, hey, Kerry, would you come on?
Hey, Kerry, would you come on and answer some questions? I promise, as much as I busted your balls, we'll be respectful, but I'd like to talk to you about the evidentiary support that you have to support any of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this because this is my first real introduction to Kerry Cassidy. I'm looking forward to learning more.
She's been around a while. Her and Bill Ryan were on back in, like I said, the mid 2000s already. It doesn't seem like it's that long ago, but
Well, that was just
Kerry thinks that Dan Burrish is the head of MJ12. UFO Watchdog says.
Involved with Dan Burrish for a long time. Dr. Dan Burrish, aka Dan Crane, aka Dan Castiles, aka Daniel McDowell, aka Dan Burrish has gone like in hiding for years now. He hasn't been around.
Well, I think what happened to him is what happens to a lot of these so-called fake so-called whistleblowers that are fake. They go out on the internet, they tell ridiculous stories, not realizing that that's going to be there forever and that's going to fuck up their lives and affect their lives. And then you can't get a job because now you're the loon that worked at Area 51. That's all over YouTube,
I knew Dan, and there were some very strange things about Dan that I found very intriguing. I'll just keep them to myself. A guy by the name of Bill Hamilton knew Dan very well. Now, Bill Hamilton apparently passed away a year ago. There is some stuff about Dan Burrish that's very interesting, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to expand upon that, but I'll just give you a little hint. He did have round-the-clock security, and I'm not talking about little wimpy guys. I'm talking about guys that look like former special ops guys. And you can look up Bill Hamilton saying that, and other people saying that. Why? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know about Spore story. I don't believe that, but he did have round the clock security. And I know that for a fact. I know that for an absolute fact. The other guy died also that used to follow Dan around. I'm trying to remember his name. Died of bladder cancer 3 years ago. Oh, darn it.
Okay. Vanessa Thor says that Kerry has a strict no debate, no exposure to negative comment or review policy. So
that doesn't mean
how is like asking a question negative?
This isn't a debate. It wouldn't be a debate.
It's a conversation.
No, I would just like to talk to her about, listen, I have valid questions. Like if you're going to say that this person is credible, but then we find out that this person was court-martialed for molesting children, I think that affects their credibility. And if they have no evidentiary support other than their story and they're, a child molester, I don't think that they have any value as far as the stories that they tell.
Talking about Bill Brockbrader?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Bill Brockbrader, I'm pretty sure she knows he was full of crap. There was no SEAL Team 9. All that other crap.
Tell Kerry Cassidy there's a really old woman here on the show with you, and I want to learn about her. I would love to.
She can hear. She can hear.
No debate policy. What kind of weak ass shit is this?
Oh,
the same weak ass shit that David Wilcock. He won't debate anybody because he knows he'll look like a fucking idiot.
Come on, unless you give him $50,000. I mean, that guy there is all about. I mean,
Well, he can find those dildos and get. It's up to $15,000 now. We have pledges of $1,000 from 5 different users. I pledged 10. He can get $15,000 for finding the box of dildos that we buried for him.
so I remember that night. Oh my God.
Oh, we're doing a part 3 this week. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do the part 3 because there's a lot of stuff on Twitter. You can check the hashtag David Wilcock Dildo Seeker on Twitter, and people are posting. We're up to, I think, 12 or 14 different countries that dildos are buried in that he could find. And yeah.
Vanessa Thor, the troll patrol, come. People who just want to learn. I have a ton of questions. But that's being inquisitive. I think I've never been called a troll for being inquisitive.
Yeah, and I'm real big on this. If your stories are so weak they cannot withstand any questioning or debate, that says everything you need to know about the value of what they're offering.
Yeah, answer a couple of questions for your grandma, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can get her on your show because she would take you as a little less threatening than me, maybe, because I have a little bit of reputation.
Well, this will certainly give us a reputation. If I did, no. If she's that skittish, she wouldn't be a fit on the Granny Show, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is what it is, though, friends. These people are not. They're not out there to prove what they're saying. They're out there to just sell what they're saying. And people like her, Linda Moulton Hale, and others, they don't even respond to very valid criticism.
Well, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, go ahead, Sierra. Go ahead.
Well, one question.
Or is it Terry, right? I'm sorry, Terry,
it's
right?
Terry. It's just spelled different. It's like Terry. Yeah. I think that I would like to ask her. Well, how did she find out that she was a precog? Or can you explain more about your time traveling?
Yeah, or any of those.
Right?
Let's make bullet points. She says she's a whole lot of things. I mean, she kept pulling them out of her head. And sorry.
And this is just 30 minutes of her talking. Imagine if you sat through a 3-hour video of her talking, because those exist, but I can't make it through. Like, I check out, the bullshit just goes in my brain, and I go, I can't. I'm full at 20 minutes.
Yeah, you print it all out, and it would look like a receipt from Rite Aid Pharmacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot.
But I'm glad that I did this because there seems to be interest. There seems to be interest in her and her crazy claims.
She makes a lot of money, though. I mean, I think
blows
Kerry makes
my
a lot of
mind.
money by doing this. All the conferences, and she makes a lot of money for a lot of people. And I've noticed that a lot of people that are part of, they branched out into other networks and stuff like that, but their genesis is Project Camelot. I went by and I went, this person came from Project Camelot. This person came out of Project Camelot. That person's,
Yeah, many of them did,
Camelot.
yeah.
Right? So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And a lot of them have criminal backgrounds. For example, Ralph Armagron is actually Alex Collier. He also did time in prison for a tax fraud type of deal. So she associates herself with a lot of criminals. She makes a lot of money. She travels all over the place. And she has also connected over to the mainstream media in some ways by doing that. She's featured on some sort of UFO type show. So I have questions. I have questions. I mean, I think she's got a lot more going on, more of a racket going on, and a lot of money than people realize.
It's definitely a racket.
My fucking gloves are off. Okay, this is obviously a crazy grifter who's good at the game, right? I don't care.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna find a fucking reptilian alien. We need ratings here, so I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get those ratings.
You got me.
Reptilian aliens, yeah.
You got me. You don't need an alien. You got me.
Well, can you come? Yeah, or we should have Vanessa Thor tell her story of being the granddaughter of Valiant Thor.
I'm just here as an independent interdimensional
straight
observer.
Yeah. Well, we've had Jason Quidd, who's an interdimensional time traveler. We need more woo here.
Jason Quidd was my idea.
We got to turn the woo dial way up because, listen, I hate to always bust his balls, but like Jean-Claude from Beyond Mystic, look at how many viewers he gets. And some of the people that he has, I go, are you really? It's crazy. But we need more woo.
you could literally make a show that is a complete parody of that, and just make up absolute bullshit and probably make a load of money.
I've got a lot of out-of-work actor and magician friends, so I think I could get some people to help with that. Sure.
Yeah, I have some out of work actor friends and artists, and shit, boy, we could put together this consortium.
I'd want to participate on that project. That would be fun.
No,
Well, everybody's
That
got
would
to come up with their own LARP. That's how this works. Like, I'll be the you can be the alien hybrid. We've got that in the form of Vanessa Thor. Spooky could be the interdimensional time traveler. Solar Marshal, you should be the government insider that worked at Area 51. Everybody's got to have. Terry, I don't know. We'll make you maybe we'll make you a secret space program.
Yeah, I could play Kerry Cassidy.
There you go. Oh, perfect. And I'll just be blank.
I'll be some alien. I'll figure something out. But I think it would be fun to parody a phony host.
Yeah, and here's a good point. Jason Quitt will talk to the naysayers. Before I interviewed him, I said, "Listen, you know that I'm very skeptical of your claims, but I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to not be nasty to you. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions." And he said, "You can ask me anything you want." And we became friends after that, which is crazy, because if I would just take his claims on the face of it and not speak to him, get to know him, I came away going, I don't know if his experiences are real, but I believe 100% after talking to him, getting to know him, that he believes that his experiences are real. And that was enough for me to go, he's not just a grifter out there trying to profit, and he's not really out there, trying to cash in too much. He's just, I've had these experiences, I want to share them, and we became friends. And that's the way it should be. If you're going to be out there telling these stories, you should talk to, whoever has a genuine interest, as long as they're respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vanessa Thor says, that's why I believe Jason's testimony, because he has had no issues or insecurities with questions or criticism. In fact, he invites them. Yeah. And I tried to gotcha him a few times, but he was okay. He respected me, and he said, "You wouldn't be doing your job right if you didn't ask me hard questions." So I'm okay with it. Like, he wasn't pissed. He would, we had a good talk.
A civilized exchange. Sometimes that's all I'm ever after is a civilized exchange. Don't want to bash anybody, don't want to shame anybody. But boy, people are. They're reactive to questions, some of them, and those are the guys you really can zero in on. Boy, if they're that reactive to just simple.
Yeah, or if they sue their critics, then that's a pretty good indication that their stories can't withstand any debate at all.
Yeah, boy, debate is dead, these days.
Yeah, at least civil debate, it gets heated real fast, especially when these people are tied to money, because I think they have this perception that if you fuck up my con and I make less money, I can't talk to you. That's what I think they're concerned with.
Don't divert my income stream, for God's sake.
Oh, it's all about the income stream. That's the whole purpose of it, I think.
It's
partly,
well, of course it is.
But you also have the QAnon LARP coming out of the UFO community.
By the way, you can send me a PayPal donation. Just putting that out there. I think that we need balance in our so-called crazy community here. And just as there are so many of these assholes out there grifting and selling fake shit, we should have some people that are going to question the fake shit and not be scared of, I've had people tell me, you got to be careful. You're not going to get booked at conferences, even though, people know that I have a genuine interest in especially UFOs, having seen something myself as a child. I've studied this stuff my whole life, but people warn me, you can't do that. You're not going to get invited to conference. I don't care about getting invited to conferences. I want to get to the truth. So send me some money. Absolutely. Send us some money, you leeches. Make a PayPal donation.
I think everybody here ought to post their PayPal accounts. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody can share. Anybody in the live chat, you can share whatever you want to share. We're not real good on.
I was kidding.
What the hell now?
But you can join the grannies for $1.99. You know, that's
Yeah, and I have a Patreon too, which I want to thank each and every one of you because it really does help. It really does help. Everything that you see here, everything, the backdrops, the webcams, the microphones, I bought slowly over time with the Patreon money as I transitioned from a radio show to this new format. And it was great because I didn't have to beg my wife for any money or explain, explain, you know, like why I need this or that, you know. And I just want to thank too, one second, we'll give a shout out to thank, we had Richard donated $40 a few days ago on the PayPal donations, and that really helps because that's a good chunk of a couple of bucks.
That's a chunk of money. Bless them.
Yeah, bless them, especially in this economy, helping a brother out. Thank you. We sincerely appreciate
we're all
it.
struggling, when every one of us is struggling, for people to be generous is just the best thing. You know, it's just
and I always like to say too, like, although we do need some financial support to continue the show, if you can't do that, it doesn't cost anything to share these videos on your social media, like, comment, subscribe, and every one of you people in the live chat, you know somebody else that like these topics or might think this is a good show and entertaining. Send them our video and say, please subscribe to this guy. We're trying to get to the magic number still. You know?
Yeah, the magic number, and also give it some watch time, even if you don't really watch.
I have a friend that's like, I just leave your videos up and let them play whether I'm watching it or not.
Turn down the sound and go do the dishes. Just give it some watch time. You don't.
That might be against the terms of service, Robin Ebel song. So I won't suggest that people do that. But people have. Yeah, people have suggested to me that they do that kind of stuff. You know.
I was kidding. I did not mean that. It is just a fallacy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Christ,
yeah. So please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and send our channel address to some friends. I'd really appreciate it. And we can continue to do fun stuff like this. So Spooky, how long have you known about Kerry Cassidy, and when did you check out? Because everybody's got that thing where you find a new source. Like I've done it with like Robert Dean, with many different of these, Clifford Stone, Stephen Greer, where you sort of start going down their rabbit hole and eventually you check out. When did you check out, Spooky?
I guess like I first found Kerry like years and years ago. I was listening to a lot of Coast to Coast. It was about
she was a frequent guest,
years
right?
ago. Yeah. And I found her YouTube with Bill Ryan, and I kind of followed it, but didn't follow it too closely. And then the whole thing with David and Corey like quitting Gaia, I kind of looked at the whole situation and just went, no. So that was my off point with all of it.
For those that really want an entertaining, there's a famous video. I think we're going to do that one next, of Kerry Cassidy yelling and screaming at Stephen Greer. It's gold, friends. We're going to share and analyze that one. They had an argument over Stephen Greer's assertion and constant claim that all ETs are benevolent. And she's the one pushing the Draco reptilians fucking and eating people. So she was arguing with them, about the malevolent, the bad aliens, and how can you be irresponsible and say they're all good? And it's gold. We're going to share that one next.
That sounds awesome.
Boy, I've just been under a rock all this time. I know that CW Chanter, CW Chanter used to always.
Friends. No, go ahead.
It's Kerry Cassidy.
Yeah, yay.
Hello.
Anyway,
there's somebody. Hold on, there's somebody calling in.
Oh, cool.
One second. Hi, this is Steven. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan, he's calling in. How you doing, Jonathan? Good for you. And I guess we lost Solar Marshall, but that's okay. We got to wrap things up because I got to get ready to get my child soon. So,
I'm at work and I'm in the rain right now. It's pouring on me.
Jonathan.
And you're doing a show I can't be on.
Oh, that's okay. You can be on the net. We're this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing a panel show for Jonocide. So anybody who wants to participate in that, let me know. I'm gonna set it up
another
early.
Random one?
Yeah. We're gonna do an open forum, open phone lines, open topics panel, and we're gonna have hopefully more people on that panel, because we've never pre-planned those, and we get 6 or 7 or 8
those
people.
are so much fun.
Yeah,
God.
so let's do one where we plan it, and maybe we'll get a lot more participants for the next one.
Yeah, Kerry Cassidy, real quick. In 2012, I was unemployed, so I started looking up what I wanted to know on what I was interested in. It was UFOs, and I found Project Camelot, and I went and I watched all her stuff, went back, and as soon as I was done, I was like, she's crazy. I can't.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling today's show.
But
Get your ticket for the Kerry Cassidi Crazy Train. It's awesome.
oh yeah, it was the point. Like, she got hit with a stellar weapon when she actually had half her face was paralyzed. And she was a scalar weapon hit me. It almost killed me. And I'm like,
it's called
no, you got that Parkinson's thing. I forget what it's called, but your face paralyzes.
Well, yeah, it's a
obvious.
stroke.
I'm being attacked with scalar right now.
Just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, and people are calling it Project Scamelot. Kerry Cassidy and Project Scamelot, Vanessa Thor and Lee Veltman. I'm stealing that for the next Kerry Cassidy video.
Vanessa Thor, Bell's
All right, well, I'm
palsy.
gonna let you go because I am working, so I want my boss to catch me talking on the phone.
All right, well, good to hear from you. Thank you very much,
Bye,
Genocide.
sweetheart.
Thanks.
All right.
Everybody have a good day.
Bye,
Bye,
Genocide.
Genocide. Okay, Vanessa Thor said she has Bell's palsy. She had. You don't had Bell's palsy. Once you got it, it's
Yeah, you got it.
forever.
And I have third nerve palsy, so I know something about palsies.
It's fucking permanent. So I say it was a stroke. She's that age, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, these scammers will fold in anything they can. Look at Emery Smith went to the hospital, and they were claiming, David Wilcock and him were claiming that he was attacked basically by the Men in Black and poisoned, and it turned out that he had alcohol poisoning from a 3-day
Binge.
alcohol-related bender, and they turned that into a GoFundMe that they raised, I think, $60,000 or something like that.
Man, you guys, we've got it all wrong here. We're all doing the shit wrong. They're making all this money, and where do we miss the boat, you guys?
I got to get me some alien hybrids. I definitely got to get me some alien hybrids. Oh, look, we have bots in the fucking Twitch chat. Want to become famous? Buy followers and primes. We don't use bots.
No, that's a real person. We're the bots.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. There used to be those bots on YouTube. Want to be famous on YouTube? Buy subscribers and this and that. Now they're all on Twitch because it's very, very difficult for the bots to work on YouTube now. YouTube worked on a lot of things to make that really difficult. But on Twitch, you can buy views and followers all day long, and it's easy on Twitch still. They don't have safeguards. So now all the scammers that are selling shit to want to be show hosts or whatever are on Twitch doing that.
Okay, real quick, Vanessa Thor in the chat.
Bell's is almost always cleared. So eventually it works itself out.
It's something that always lingers. It can flare because it is an inflammation issue. And yeah, I've encountered them, but it always has to be looked after so that it doesn't come back in full flare up. Okay. So yeah, Vanessa, you have a good point. Yeah.
And if somebody is in the live chat that can help us and put the links that people will talk about in the live chat, Spooky, plug your YouTube channel, and Robin and Terry, you guys get a plug. We'll go Spooky first. Talk about your project, the Dark Alliance podcast.
That's a joke.
Well, I know it's a joke, but there's something called the Dark Alliance.
There is something called the Dark Alliance podcast that I made in response to Corey Good labeling his critics the Dark Alliance, and basically it's just me talking about opinions about Corey Good. And there's 2 episodes in like 9 months. I'm so productive, everyone. I care so much
Spooky,
about it.
I could talk to you about how to make that. When I first started my radio show, my podcast, audio podcast, that's what I was doing, like 1 show a month, because I just didn't know how to do it faster. I could help you figure that out.
Oh no, I do it on my. I would do more if I literally cared
Okay.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in to the podcast that Spooky doesn't care enough to continue making. And Robin, talk about your channel and what you do.
We
I'll make
do.
more eventually.
I know Spooky, and I know you have makeup now, so yeah, we'll talk about that later, maybe, with the grannies. Okay, our show is about, it's just nonsense. We do interviews, and boy, the Rona made our show just take off a little bit because people were locked down.
You got a captive audience. Yeah.
The captive fucking audience, and it's been wonderful. And you just ask people to be on, to be interviewed that you would never dream of asking otherwise. But people are saying, yeah, I'll come on the show. My God, it's been awesome. But we a lot of artists on our show, a lot of artists, musicians, photographers, writers, painters, actors, and they're just so gracious. We come on and we use a lot of dirty language. I always do a disclaimer.
Yeah, she's like my dirty grandma. I had a great aunt that cursed more than a sailor. You remind me of her sometimes.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but it's a show really about
Pragmatic is here and says it's a great show. I agree.
Well, that's because
Thank you, Keith.
I make him dinner a lot. Thanks, Keats. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
I jumped over and turned Mexican.
Yeah, there you go. It's Mario Spooky. And Terry, can you tell us about your projects?
Okay.
And by the way, we got to wrap things up real quick. So I'm just giving everybody a plug on the way out, and then we'll
hurry,
wrap things
Terry.
up. No, you know what? She doesn't need to hurry, but I'm just saying after this, we're going to go.
My background is stand-up comedy, and I sidetracked into being on Revolution Radio and American Freedom Radio, kind of like the Truth Media host kind of thing. And I still do stuff like that, but I started a podcast called Not My Rabbit Hole, and I record on Anchor, and it goes on Spotify, and I put it up on my channel. So that's my new project. And
awesome.
Yeah, and then I have my YouTube channel that I investigate and kind of out things. I have a lot of footage from I've live streamed things in this media, and now I'm going to go back and show some of that footage and stuff like that. Like I have footage of Nighthawk doing an Ozzy Osbourne impression for Hot.
Yeah,
So,
and I've seen a couple of your videos.
Footage.
I've seen a couple of your videos because of the work that I was doing in the strange case of Sarah Fraud Adams. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I couldn't hold back on that. I had. You can't say that you have.
Oh yeah. So we have a question for you from the live chat, Terry. She said, "Wait, can you ask about Alex Collier's AKA? What is his name again? The name that you mentioned."
Ralph Armagron, and I believe it's Armagon. It's ARMIGRON or ARMIGON. But I did a video about it and showed,
and somebody mentioned earlier that a lot of these people, I think it was you, Terry, that a lot of these people are convicted felons or criminals in their past. And I got to tell you that I have a friend that's got that software where you can do background checks, and he let me use it to background check a lot of these people. And you will be shocked about how many of these people are, they were convicted of felonies before they decided they were secret space program people or talk to aliens. So it kind of goes with the con. They're criminals. They just found a new way to be a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Ralph Armageddon. Cool. Thanks for the link to her page, out of mine. Yeah, somebody sharing the link to your page.
So friends, the salad story. Oh, you're out of time. I'm sorry. Sometime I got to hear the salad story, Terry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap things up here. I want to thank all of my panel guests. I wasn't expecting to have a panel show, but this is what happens with a live show, and it was great. So
it's okay.
Yeah, it's always good to get other perspectives, and I think I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us as they got their first ticket to the Kerry Cassidy Crazy Train. But we're going to go back. We're going to take another ride on the Kerry Cassidy Crazy Train in the form of watching her and Stephen Greer argue with each other, because it's fucking gold, and I want to share that. So thank you, Terry. Thank you, Solar Marshall. He popped off early, and Spooky and Robin Eaglesong, of course. You guys should all go and support their artistic endeavors as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go sub to Terry right now. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you, sweetheart.
Yes. All right. I'm going to throw all you guys out of here now.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Boom, boom.
Boom.
Spooky, you're the
Boom.
last one standing, but
Okay.
you're gone too now. Bye-bye. So, friends, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. It has been my pleasure to do an early show, and we had great attendance today, so we'll be repeating that. And we're going to get back on the Kerry Cassidy Crazy Train. We're going to get back onto covering these free energy devices and the characters involved in that subculture. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Thank each and every one of you for being here. It's always great when there's an audience, and I'm glad that you could be in mine. Thanks, friends. Good night, and God bless.